Hello and welcome to this video. We are in Rettendon in Essex, where in December of 1995 3 men were shot in a case that went on to be called the Essex Boys. Upon arrival at the site, I spoke to various people, including one man who claimed to have seen the Range Rover being towed away, and they showed me where tourists, as they referred to them, are directed who want to visit the site. However, where did it really happen? We aim to find out.
Rover had driven down this bridleway. All 3 men were shot through the head at point-blank range. Detectives say they're keeping an open mind, but believe the killings have all the hallmarks of a gangland murder. Although the dead men have yet to be formally identified, detectives now say they're believed to be known criminals, but they have no idea why they were murdered. Andrew Simmons, News at 10, Rettendon in Essex. Andrew, they were working on a theory that the dead men, aged between 20 and 40, were involved in some sort of criminal activity. But they still haven't identified them or found out a motive for the murder.
So this is glorious, isn't it? Absolutely delicious. And here today, we are at Rettendon. Look at that. I thought it was just down there, but actually, I arrived here late last night and went to the right place initially. So I've got to go back now to the right place, because I've come to the wrong place, I think. Or I wonder, we'll just type in Workhouse Lane, easy peasy, right? So there's like some fella went past there, and he's pointed out that it is indeed round there. Because at the moment I'm here, just round the corner from Workhouse Lane. It's a named road. But this is where it happened. So that's the first bit of misinformation, backed up by local knowledge. So not a great start, but I came to understand that the people thereabouts and the landowner farmer have become so sick of 30 years of people visiting the site, on top of the mainstream media that went there, flooded the area at the time, that they have now created a duff site, which is the one that you will see on the recent YouTube videos and such like, which in fairness is based on the original reports. Let's have a look.
The Range Rover had driven down this bridleway. Although the dead men have yet to be formally identified, detectives now...
So not only have we been to the wrong place completely, now that we're in the right area, we're still being directed towards the wrong actual place.
The Range Rover had driven down this bridleway.
So the fence is now underneath this shrubbery. But yes, this is it. Except it isn't, is it? And I do understand why they're sick and tired of people coming to visit. But they've sort of created this fake site for people to visit. They even have a reference to it as the murder field. They call that the murder field, that's just on the left there. But it's been going on for so long that they've even got a secondary fake site. This is unbelievable, isn't it? We're going to get there, bear with me. At the site. And because I did come here last night. This is the first place I came to, but not realising that this was the right place, because I wasn't expecting the gate, you see. So I'm immediately suspicious of this, because if you've seen the report, it's not that close to the road, is it? It's further down, so we're going to have a look. That said, I'm not sure I would fancy... But here we are. Now, very strange, because last night, even though I subsequently thought I was in the wrong place, last night I got a really curious feeling, you know, just an impression as I came down this alleyway, which is heavily boggy. And indeed, in the videos, in the footage after the incident, there were forming puddles, most of which had been frozen, but it really is boggy. Last night I was... You know, it is fit for Wellington.
Yeah, keep going. Next one. Right, and again. Police tape. That is the tape that the police put down for allowing all these senior cops of badge and ranks and to walk all the way down the lane to the crime scene and back again. What the hell? You know, come on. Should be anywhere near being allowed to go anywhere down that lane. But that's until the experts have done it. It's been it's a route that was put down to follow. You can see the marks there. There's tyre tracks, because there's not one single tyre impression that's identified to any vehicle other than the farmer's.
Now, of course, the farmer was left to make the gruesome discovery in the early hours of the following morning, but according to those two ex-police officers that you just heard from, the Range Rover was under tracker surveillance and the police drug squad was sitting in a silver vehicle at the end of the road. And what was the opening police statement again?
This bridleway. All three men were shot through the head at point-blank range. Detectives say they're keeping an open mind. The dead men have yet to be formally identified, detected in some sort of criminal activity. But they still haven't identified them or found out a motive for the murder.
Well, hang on a minute. Like, before we even start, if they were being tracked, that these well-known criminals to police, and their opening statement is we don't know who they are, it's been logged that they were under surveillance. So before we even start, the police have lied, were lying. Of that there's now no doubt. So up there is Rettendon Hall. Over here is some sort of caravan park. Now, I've been going and going and going and going and going. And if you look online, you're going to see certain sites that tell you that this is it. This is it. And I'm not going to say that that's not true. It does bend. So the recent onliners, right, are saying, and this looks like the topography. Don't forget here, there is a conspiracy, it's alleged, that to hide what happened. So the suggestion is that the gate at the top of the road there is where has been moved in 30 years since it's been happened. So that's been moved to the top of the lane, and that quite simply they came down here, went round that corner, and then where that road crosses this lane, what would have 30 years ago would have just been open field. So that's where they parked. So this is it. Okay? So I think it's fair to say that I'm not very sure about that. The doubts were niggling me. And while I was there was another fellow who turned up, and for no other reason than to look, and he was happy with that. However, this channel's about truth. And I had a very long conversation with a guy. He said he was suffering from Alzheimer's, and he said that the locals refer to this here as the death field. And look, as you see, it does sort of fit the bill. You've got the gate there, and then you've got the side gate here, right? But and then you've got the hall on the right hand side. That fits with the hill, right? So that fits, okay? So the old chap that I was speaking to, he referred to the people who come to visit this as tourists. And I have found another searcher. Someone else was searching for it, and he believes he's found it. Come here, he believes he's found it. Me, however, a little birdie, a little PC birdie actually, or ex-PC birdie, told me that it's half mile further on. I turned into my own Gandalf the Grey. Okay, not Gandalf the Grey, Gandalf the Just. Come in. But you shall not pass. Oh, go on in. So that leads down here, and the video that I was researching also said they drove a Land Rover down here. Well, it's possible, I guess. Huge divots made, which again were visible in the original footage. But according to those police officers, they were being surveilled, but because Bat Tate particularly was super paranoid, and they were aware that it wasn't a normal type of observations, but some sort of tracker, so they were being tracked. Apparently not too much has been said about that. Now we have got an opening there, and what we're sort of looking for is, yes, an opening on one side, and then the gate itself, the holy gate itself, at the end of the track. So I mean, in the daytime it's absolutely beautiful, but tonight, yes, I do hope you come and join us, because we are going to be spending the night here, Maybe even some sort of paranormal. I mean, YouTube itself is paranormal. Watching TV is paranormal, isn't it? But just to see, because it's extraordinary what a different place it has an atmosphere, but not as dark as the one that I felt last night, and that we will be feeling again tonight, even more, because now we are sure that this is the way. And they did say about half a mile, so we'll carry on going. You can see the horses have been down here, but still no sign of the holy gate, so we will endeavour. You know, it is possible, it'd be well possible to get a Range Rover down here. Incidentally, the Range Rover itself was bought by somebody who I don't think was aware what he was buying. He was just buying a retro Range Rover, and I thought that'll look, that'll be all right. That's an auction, and it sold for, it wasn't sold with any sort of, price that you'd imagine for something which has since, well, even then was famous. But from what I understand, I imagine he's renting it out, as it were, so people can see the vehicle that this happened in. It is probably, certainly the most famous thing to come out of Southend in the last 50 years. I mean, other than that, we've got Ian Dury and Alison Moyer. It's not a lot, is it? Southend Pier. But this is something else that even after 20 years, there's still unanswered questions. I mean, they're not unanswered questions anymore. They are glaring untruths. And it's all, the truth comes out eventually. You know that expression, the truth will come out eventually. So, and that's why I said earlier, I would like to hear from police officers, ex-police officers or serving police officers about this, because the guy, one of those officers was saying, I hope you do go and watch that, because one of those officers, Tim Eyre, I think his name was, said, we've not made anything from this. We've lost friends. This has caused us untold hassle. But they're good officers because they know that it's not. They know that it's an injustice. I can see it. I can see the gate. It's at the end there. Look, we can see it. It's a gate. I'm not sure if it's the gate. But the thing that I find amazing is that, given the furore over this incident, that it hasn't become some sort of pilgrimage, people sort of coming to see it. I'm amazed I haven't.
Number one, right, this is where I believe, and David believes, that the white shiny new Sierra was seen at I think it was 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. No one with it, top of the range,
Sierra Cosworth,
that Essex Police drug squad and surveillance team had access to. Tire tracks that you see there have been checked, and they are the same type you get from a Sierra Cosworth. Why didn't Essex Police make further inquiries about the white Sierra Cosworth seen at the top of the lane?
There were two Sierras, white Sierras, in Essex at the time. One was with ourselves at Brentwood on the RCS, permanent issue. The other was with the Technical Support Unit, TSU. They were both tracking cars. So they were, in those days, you use an RF tracker, and they were both tracking vehicles, and they were used. The Brentwood car stayed with the Regional Crime Squad, either Harlow or Brentwood office. The other car was used ad hoc by the drug squad. There was an operation against
Rolf.
Tucker Tate and Rolf at the time. There was an operation, Tucker Tate and Rolf, at the time, by Essex Drug Squad. There was an ongoing investigation operation targeting them. They knew categorically you could not follow Pat Tate and probably Rolf, so they would have put a tracker on that car. You wouldn't do conventional surveillance on them, so they would have put a tracker on the car.
But the police officer to say that, as someone who's involved in the investigation, that's a huge statement. I wonder what the farmer must think about that, given that he was the one to have been left to find the bodies. If they were tracking that car, they would have already known that the bodies were there. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Rabbit hole. But I'm here to try and find the site, not the fake site, the real site where this Essex Boys thing occurred. And I'm not finding it easy. As I'm walking round up and down around these tracks, I bump into this fella, this old guy, who told me that he was there that exact morning and saw the vehicle being towed away. And when I asked him where it is, He said, you won't find it, and that I might as well give up. And he said that I should give up, and I must admit I considered it at that point, because I would usually give a lot of credence to local knowledge, and I'd asked a few people by this point, and they'd all pointed me towards the fake site. But then there was a clue that one of those ex-police officers said.
So it goes straight ahead, and that's Workhouse Lane that goes to the top at the back of the Wheatsheaf pub. I know a lot of people have talked about that, makes sense. So it's about another half a mile. Yeah, straight ahead is on the map, White House Lane. Turn right in a second is a farm track. So the correct location of where the Range Rover was found was a farm track off Workhouse Lane, close to the 5-bar gate.
Right, so if we disregard the tourist spot, as it were, and then continue down the lane, Workhouse Lane, where this incident is said to have occurred, we come to this crossroads where that's like the second dummy site where they say it's happened. You know, the locals. That old guy, he said that he even walked me there and pointed at the spot. He went, it happened there, right there. But that wasn't true. That's not true. As that ex-copper said, it's another half mile more further on. So let's carry on. Right, now I didn't think it was going to be this hard to find, because this other bloke turns up looking for where it happened, and another guy who was actually looking for the memorial site, and he pointed to a gate and said it happened there, which seemed to please the other guy, but didn't please me. That ex-copper says it's another half a mile. So after all that messing about, it occurred to me, the drone. Let's get the drone up and have a look. I had to go back, charge the drone up. By that time it was too late to film. I'd lost the light. So now armed with the drone, I've come back, but all I've got is that memorial site at the end of this road, this path here. All I can say is that if it is, we're going to find it. Right, and here's the gate that made the other chap happy. He was absolutely adamant that this was the gate that they stopped at. And we'll go away and forever say I went to the Essex Boys site. He was using comparisons to the gate, the original pictures. And it does look like the original gate, and it could be the original gate. It could have been moved, I don't know. But we'll carry on, we're going to carry on. So there's this is RAF memorial site that's been built subsequently in the last 30 years. Now look at this. There is a further track. Because from round the corner, a bit further down, that's not obvious. So the plot thickens, doesn't it? It looks like it goes round as well. Oh, I can't wait to find out. So yes, the road does pan round, and this is it. There is a fork here, but someone's walking their dog. I wonder if she knows anything. But look at this. I mean, these hedges, you know, going by that fence at the end of the road. These hedges are probably 20 or 30 years old, maybe 10, 20 years old. So it is going down here. I think this is, do you know what? I think this is it. Oh my God, look at this, look at this. And there's a gate with a little runoff to the left, which is what I was expecting. And of course Rettendon Hall is on the right hand side, so that all fits. Gate, left hand gate, and Rettendon Hall on the right hand side. But this has been built since, so this would have presumably been open fields ever since. Oh God, there's someone coming. There's a sort of ranger thing coming. Who's having the bonfire? There are private property, don't enter, razor wire type things. This isn't the actual gate. If we compare the gate to the other.
Right, you can see the Range Rover in the distance in the middle. That's where the first responders put their tape across to say no one's allowed past there. There's no footprints lifted at all until you get to the Range Rover.
If we compare the gate. Okay, so I'm now of the opinion that it's happened at just round that corner, basically. So you can't get to it on foot. So if you're planning to go there, don't bother. Unless you want to commit aggravated trespass, because it's a locked gate, there's a sign there saying private property. It's a fishing and a shooting club, and you can't go on foot, but you can go over by drone. Alternatively, of course, it could have gone across this memorial park, and in which case the track has completely gone, or there is a faded track where I'm walking along right now. But ultimately, And after nearly 2 days, I basically think it's where the car park for the shooting and fishing club is now. If you can't get under it, you can't get round it, you can't get through it, let's go over it. So after a lot of investigation, research and etc, spanning about 2 days, up we go, and I'm going to say, there it is, right there. That's the site, right there, where they met their end. There may well be a slight deviation from exactly where it was, but you're asking me, there it is. That's where the real site of the Essex boys incident took place. However, got to remember is that the allegation is that Essex police moved the vehicle, and they knew about this way before the farmer found it the next morning. So in the end, if they don't admit it, we're never going to know. It's only the perpetrators, Pat Tate, Tony Tucker and Craig Rolfe, and any brush under the carpet first responders. The farmer can only say where he found it the next morning, but that was hours later. And that spot, I believe, was here.
But his name is PMP Dragon, yeah? PMP Dragon? Yeah. You got that, mate? Yeah. Right.
And that's if you want to go by that released press picture. Alternatively, you could go by this released press picture. Just ridiculous, isn't it? This is Essex after all. Nothing as it seems. Because they look like young conifers there, and on the opposite side you've got sort of oak trees, right? So if you want to go by this picture, then I think it happened here.
Yeah, where was the call coming from, please? Payphone, I'm sorry I didn't mention, I passed that when I gave the number. It's outside Walk. Russell's Walk? Yes, RUNDELLS.
Now, in the Memorial Park, there are a line of conifers that do line up with the possibility that it could have happened if we go by that other released press picture. It could have happened here, where the gate is today. But I think it's more likely that it happened a bit further up. Ultimately, we don't know, but that's what I think. As to my theory about what happened, it's clear that Essex police have lied about this case, and they have withheld evidence from the court or refused to investigate certain angles. If they had them under surveillance and were tracking the car, they were also the first finders of the bodies and not the farmer, as was released. So, yes, I do think it probably is connected with the death of Leah Betts. And whilst I wouldn't wish a loss of a child to any parent and could understand how that might make her father feel, if that theory is correct, then the momentary satisfaction that you gain from the killing does not underscore that the fact that you've managed to watch two other men be jailed for 30 years for a crime they didn't commit. Also, revenge if that's something you want to do. But there's a price to pay. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and the truth always comes out.
Headquarters on the technical support unit. About 5:15 p.m. on Tuesday, the 19th of December. The recording has been made onto a brand new Fuji C90 cassette, bearing the identification multi-track AT1130. This is the 9 call.
Hello, operator. Hello. Yeah, where was the call coming from, please? Payphone, I'm sorry I didn't mention, I passed that when I gave the number. It's outside Russell's Walk. Russell's Walk? Yes, RUNDELLS. LS.
Yeah.
Basildon.